welcome to Candid Conversations with Rennu Dhillon, a Building Women Empowered initiative, empowering women everywhere. What is Candid Conversations? Well, let's begin with the word candid. Candid means straightforward, honest, and frank. What does conversation mean? Conversation is when two people get together and have an informal chat, exchange ideas and information. And when you put those together, you have Candid Conversations with Rennu Dhillon. That's me. So welcome to the show. I strongly believe that every woman has a unique experience in her life that she can share. These could be personal or professional. By sharing your story on this show, you will use and find your voice to inspire others to find their voice. Then through these personal stories, which are unfiltered and uncensored straight from your heart, women will empower other women to make incredible things happen. My goal is that I empower you, in turn you empower me, and together we empower women everywhere. I want every girl and woman to know that her voice can change the world. So if you know any woman that has a story to share, then please contact me, and my information is on the screen right now, and I would love to have them on the show. Marilyn Monroe said, "Give a girl the right pair of shoes and she'll conquer the world." I believe that if you give a woman a voice, she can conquer anything and everything. So let our voices be that revolution for change. After all, a woman is a full circle, and within her is the power to create, nurture, and transform. Enjoy the show. Today, the guest on our show is going to talk to us about how the story of Goldilocks can ennoble us for success. You're probably wondering, what is Goldilocks got to do with a woman's success? Well, our guest, Dr. Kasthuri Henry, she's a PhD driven by her mission to build, to last, and ennoble for success. When I met her and I had this conversation with her, I was just so inspired, I had to bring her on my show. I was actually invited on her show, and in turn I said, I got to have her on my show. Her ability to understand the importance of first developing the being and then bringing the authentic self to all the doing makes her a sought-after member of the Forbes Coaches Council. She's an accomplished professional who trains organizations and coaches and individuals across the world to grow with mindfulness, demonstrating good governance to balance the interest of the individual, the organization, and the society for sustained mutual prosperity. She's absolutely amazing with the way she explains things, bringing her scientific knowledge into it. Known as Dr. Cass, she shares her wisdom lessons to help others live a very ennobled, empowered, and positive life by drawing from her own life journey, starting with the Civil War to becoming a US CFO in her own international bestseller Ennoble for Success book. From Civil War to a US CFO, her recent publication, The Resilience Playbook, has helped readers take a guided journey of self-discovery to building a resilient life to becoming the #1 international bestseller. I could go on and on and on about her, but you can learn more about her at www.casshenry.com. Let's not waste any time, and let's bring on Dr. Cass to learn about how Goldilocks can ennoble your success. Enjoy the show. Well, hello, Kasthuri, and welcome to the show. Welcome to Candid Conversations.
Thank you so much, and such an honor and a pleasure to be here with you.
No, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I was on your show last time, and I was just so intrigued about how you related the story of Goldilocks to women empowerment. And I don't think I could explain it as well as you have. And I wanted you to explain to the listeners, and especially to all our women listeners, how and why is the Goldilocks story, where she goes in and she tries all these different foods and everything, how is that related to women empowerment? Over to you.
I love the question. I love the question. And I call my show Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks because I want everybody, men and women, to embody that message. And I would like to take us back to either what we remember when we were children, or as mothers and aunts, what do we remember about little ones? When babies are born, even before they learn to talk, they know how to wrap every adult around their little finger and influence them in a way to get everything they want.
Absolutely.
Right?
I see this
Just
every day.
just like Goldilocks knew how to make sure the porridge she was having was not too hot or not too cold.
Mhm.
It was just right for her, exactly the way she liked it. Wherever she sat, wherever she laid down, she made sure it was not too hard, not too soft. It needed to be perfectly just right.
Mhm.
Somewhere along the way, because of social conditioning and what we are told that our life should be and how we should be or how we should behave, especially for women, our natural instincts of being able to influence others is
Okay.
repressed. And so all we are trying to do is please other people based on their belief of what we should be.
We
And
become people pleasers.
yes, and nobody is giving us the opportunity to blossom into who we were meant to be. The Goldilocks story is all about finding that right balance, even in our adult life, to go back and find that right balance, not just to make sure we're getting it right for us, but there's a larger reason. Research shows that we can each influence only 3 levels from where we are, just 3.
No,
So if I have been conditioned to go to the extreme right end and be a certain way, I can't influence anybody other than 3 levels towards the center. If I am conditioned to go to the extreme left now, all of a sudden I can only influence 3 levels towards the center being the operative word. Goldilocks is reminding us to find that centeredness, whatever situation we're dealing with, whatever we as women specifically, or any adult for that matter, what is our purpose in life? The purpose in life sits in the center of what we love, what we are great at, and what the world needs. Once we find that centeredness, then we are able to drive our economic engine. And we come at it from a centeredness because we don't want to exclude the market by being in the extreme right end or the extreme left end.
Okay.
Right? So when we come from that centeredness, now all of a sudden we can influence 3 levels to our right, 3 levels to our left, and everybody else in the center. We have taken a 3 degrees of influence and created a 7 degrees of impact for influence. And that is where the power is. And true success comes to people with the power of influence, not the power of position. Money and power and other things that are societal can be taken away in a heartbeat. And I learned that growing up in the middle of a civil war. My parents' affluence, my parents' social status, their money, their political connections, none of that mattered. So how do we make sure that we focus on the things that matter, things that cannot be taken away from us? And the power of influence comes from within because we are centered and we are seeing multiple perspectives.
Let me give you the sense of argument from a woman's perspective. I'm going to talk from a woman's perspective. So here I am. I kind of know what I want. I know the direction I'm going. After college, you kind of establish yourself, and now suddenly you get married, and now suddenly the person you got married is maybe to the extreme right, and you are in the middle, and then you have maybe relatives who are on the extreme left. How do you position yourself to be in the center when you're stuck between people that are so far left and so far right, and they're all trying to push you to be in that side when you want to be in the middle?
I love this question. I come from a society where it is very traditional, and my family was extremely on one side. And I married into a Pennsylvania Dutch preacher's family. Okay, so they're in the extreme other end. The way I look at it is I use a little humor, I use kindness and love, but I don't budge. Let me give you an example what I mean by that. My father-in-law, as much as he loved me, he would introduce me to everybody saying, Kasthuri is from India. And I would tell him, Dad, I'm from Sri Lanka. And he would say, what's the difference? And my response was, okay, Dad, I'll tell everybody my dad is from Mexico. He said, why would you do that? I said, United States and Mexico are actually connected, and part of the United States today used to be Mexico. So you could be Mexican, but Sri Lanka and India is separated by an ocean. So if I could be Indian, you definitely could be Mexican, right? He never ever introduced me as Indian again. But so I find these ways to address this. When I married my husband, who's Caucasian, and took him home, my mom was upset. She's like, why would you marry a white guy? And I'm like, okay, your whole life you complained that your younger daughter came out looking light-skinned and white, and I didn't. Since I couldn't change my color, I did the next best thing. I brought you a white son. Right? So to me, we just have to develop the personality to navigate that middle, because if I give up my sense of who I am, I have lost myself. And if I have lost myself, I can't be there for anybody.
And also you can't be happy because you can never be who you want to be. Right.
No. And I believe women have the power, and maybe because I'm Sri Lankan, we think a little differently. Women cook, women are the head of the household, and in a marriage, there are things we can withhold, which I'm not going to say on a recorded show, right? So in a relationship, there are places where women can exert their power of influence on the man.
Absolutely.
Why not happily exert it?
And what if, so what if a woman just cannot? What if she tries all this and she's just stuck in the middle and she can't keep people happy? Then what is your recommendation for someone that says, okay, I need to empower myself? And, you know, there are two ways. One woman will say, I'm out of this situation. I'm going to move on and learn to live life on my terms. And the other one says, well, you know, I have children, I need to be in this relationship, but how can I position myself?
So two things to remember. If I am a mother and I am giving up who I am, I'm showing my daughters they don't matter.
Correct.
And they have to be like a candle to burn out for other people to have light, right? And I'm showing my sons, this is how you treat a woman.
Absolutely.
So whether we accept it or not, we are teaching our children the way we live, not by what we say, but how we live. So the first question I would ask is this the lesson I want to teach my daughters and sons? That forces a mother to look at things differently. Because the same mother who would get physically abused by the husband would take a machete or a gun or a knife at the husband if he even remotely thought of touching the daughter, right?
Correct.
So look at it from the perspective of your daughter and your son, because you're giving permission to your son on how to treat a woman. So that is one. And the other is always remembering, if I am not true to myself, how am I ever going to be true to anything? If I am not happy, it's going to affect my health. It's going to, my physical health, my mental health, my psychological health, and my spiritual health. My entire holistic person is going to get destroyed. And am I going to give permission to somebody else to do that? I recommend women to reach out to other women who can be supportive. Right? Some of us have the internal constitution by gift of birth, right? And not others. I understand that, but as a group of women, we are more powerful together. What if we stood toe to toe, supported each other, lift each other up, and reinforced the goodness in each other and gave permission to women to be who they were meant to be? The sisterhood. For a man, his longevity and the quality of his life is directly correlated to his spouse, his wife. For a woman, it is directly correlated to the sisterhood. We do not thrive in life without a sisterhood. And so I recommend all ladies, even if you have it all together, it doesn't matter, build those bridges, build that sisterhood, because it's that sisterhood that takes us through our lives' ups and downs, and is there to celebrate when we succeed and be there for us when things are not necessarily hot.
That's beautifully said. Absolutely beautifully said. So basically, Goldilocks wanted everything just right. She, in her terms of just right. It could be different for somebody else, but for her, the porridge had to be just right. The bed had to be just right. So in closing, Kasthuri, what could you tell our listeners? I mean, you're so empowering, and I'm sure many women would want to connect with you. What do you do? You're from Sri Lanka. So if you could explain to anyone, now I know you're based in the US, what is it that you do? Because I'm sure many women would want to, as part of their sisterhood, connect with you.
Absolutely. And I would love that, and I would welcome that. I am a woman entrepreneur, a founder and a CEO of Kasthuri Henry Inc. and Ennoble for Success Institute. I help entrepreneurs build their business and thrive. And I do that not only through business consulting, but entrepreneurship coaching, as well as training. And I bring the lessons and tools from big business, corporate America, because I serve people like Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway through mergers and acquisitions. And I also serve governmental entities and statutory organizations like the Chicago Teachers Pension Fund, which is a $22 billion pension fund. I am a finance executive, a PhD in finance, and a Six Sigma Black Belt. So I do business process, I do finance and strategy. I bring those tools, and I actually focus a part of my time on helping entrepreneurs. Because when entrepreneurs thrive, the society thrives. I believe in shared prosperity. And I subscribe to the notion that when you lift up a woman, you lift up a family, and therefore you lift up a society. And unfortunately, when you lift up a man, you just lift up a man. And that is a fundamental fact that even NGOs like United Nations and UNICEF has come to realize. And so helping women and lifting women entrepreneurs and making those connections and setting them up for thriving is what I do. And they can reach me at www.kashenry.com, KASHENRY.com. And I strongly encourage them to Google Transform with Dr. Kass and subscribe to my Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks episodes. Listen to them and then reach out to me. I would love to have you on my show, would love to promote you, and love to amplify your voice and be a part of making your journey successful.
Now, do you only work with entrepreneurs? What if somebody is not an entrepreneur, but they aspire to become one?
Yes. So if you're aspiring to be, then you're going to be doing a startup. So I work with people who are doing startups or people who have built a business who want to pivot.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yes. So in closing, to all the women out there that feel that they have not yet reached their potential, is it too late for them? Sometimes women even in their 60s and 70s think, oh, it's too late now.
It is never too late. It is never too late. And I'm a Hindu. I draw from my culture and my upbringing. Knowledge is for the soul, and everything we do is part of the soul's journey, and it is not predicated to this body. So if we do things right and we gain the knowledge and we transform ourselves, that transformation goes with us, with the soul. So it's never too late. In my language, we say the only time you give up is when you're already on a funeral pyre.
So I assume that's another conversation itself. You believe that the soul goes to another level or another life.
Soul is energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Body is crude matter. Therefore, it'll decompose. It's basic physics, right? My background is physics, chemistry, computer science, and math. So the soul is energy. We can tell when the body came to life, but we can't tell when the soul came into the body. It's a source of energy. And energy doesn't get destroyed. It goes somewhere.
It goes somewhere. Absolutely. You know, I could sit here and talk to you for hours and hours and hours. It's so intriguing. And just even talking to you, I get so energized. So thank you so much. You know, I'm sure that many people are going to listen to you and reach out to you. And your books have been fabulous. I had the opportunity to be able to read one. So it's wonderful. And I look forward to lots more from you. And again, I know it's pretty late for you, but thank you so much for staying up for this show and coming on this show. And I know for a fact a lot of women will connect with you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. And I welcome any woman who wants to connect with me. And I am open and willing to support any woman who needs to pivot and reach for her success, and age is irrelevant.
I hope you're as energized as I am after listening to Dr. Cass about how you can discover your inner self and how she talks about centering yourself in the middle, not going too far to the right or too far to the left, but finding that perfect balance, just like Goldilocks did when she found porridge that was just right for her and the bed she wanted to sleep on that was just right for her. Dr. Cass is a phenomenal coach, a life coach, somebody that can really help you. So anyone out there that's looking to open a business, a startup, or even if you're already in an organization and you really want to ennoble yourself for success, then don't forget to reach out and connect with her. And I'm sure you will now appreciate how the story of Goldilocks actually connects with how we can find ourselves and how you can't continue to be a people pleaser. You have to be able to live life on your terms, and there are ways of doing this. And I love the example that she used about how she told her father-in-law that he could have been from Mexico, even though he was from the US, because he kept introducing her as an Indian when she was from Sri Lanka. It's so important, I think, from Dr. Cass's message to learn how you don't always have to take things personally, and you can actually turn that whole conversation around to make the other person understand who you are and what you want to be referred to. So if you know any other empowered woman who you know whose story could empower others, then don't forget to connect with me. My information is on the screen, and I'd love to have them on Candid Conversations. Until next week, remember, stay balanced and don't forget to continue to be the authentic you. Have a great week.